Delhi, early 70s. I was young and flying high. The Taj Group had asked me to organize a function to announce their arrival in the capital. The property they just acquired at Mansingh Road was being built into a high rise hotel, and each day the skyline was changing. I chose the turbulent construction site as my stage and invited 300 itinerant artists from around the country to populate its dynamics. Here today, gone tomorrow, is how these pilgrims of joy enter our lives. Workers continued to build as the artist jostled to perform. In this dusty Karmachetra, on a pile of sand, one of my kabutri nuts, acrobats from Rajasthan, was contorting her rubber-like body to the sound of cement mixers. An agile body, balanced with a still center, riveted everyone. Suddenly there was a commotion. A venerable lady with grey hair came agitated and reprimanded me. "Do we even know what she's doing?" she asked. "The kartab she does every day on the street to earn her bread," I replied. Not amused, the temperamental disruptor stopped the performance, proceeding to give me a riveting account of Shiva's 108 karana, linking Yoga Kriya to Natyavidya. She talked about Nritya and Natya, Margi, Deshi Paramparas, and why one must learn to understand and honor context. This was one of my early encounters with Dr. Kapila Vatsyayan, who had also taught me that classical and popular traditions could be like a double reed flute, one repetitive but stable, the other open to melodic harmony. Together, it creates music that can sound different at different times. Outward, inward, breathing like a hindola, returning to the same point, or moving ahead like a spiral. Precision of inhaling and exhaling like a precisely centered pendulum. My encounters with Kapilaji were numerous and mostly volatile, right from the days of the festivals of India that she in fact had first conceived before Populji took over and transformed, to the setting up of neighborhood museums where she alone had a perspective in a rather hamstrung department of culture. Over the years, she was easily hurt and sometimes bitter about everything going wrong. And I would feel very sad as one learned more and more about her formidable knowledge and her inability to support dissent. I would argue, like any young, that the skilled vulnerable had only one constant: hunger. She would teach the sustenance of a well-trodden path in times of turbulence and flux. During many encounters, always hugely enlightening, but sometimes frustrating, my anguish would spill out, and once it even drove her to tears. Never quite forgiving myself for such indiscretion, I remain grateful that she still indulged me. Taking her out to the Imperial Hotel, I remember, At the opening of an eatery I designed, the garden party, we played croquet on the lawns and danced to a brass band. Yes, occasionally one disagreed with her sense of contemporary and a visual analysis of new design in architecture. One also questioned government patronage she was so totally in charge of. But all through 5 decades of knowing Kapilaji, one remained in absolute awe of her astute scholarship, her austere lifestyle, her hard-working constance, standing miles ahead of anyone with her vast exposure that she had with vital cross-cultural and transdisciplinary linkages. Kamala Devi Chattopadhyay, who actually introduced us, often counseled me when agitated to listen to her, Kapilaji, especially on matters of dance traditions and religious studies. Occasionally she would startle us during a discussion, animating the mahal with a spontaneous tukra of sublime gesture and fleeting expression. How one regrets never having seen her dance on stage or on a recorded film. In the last few years, her eyesight deteriorated, as indeed her intellect became sharper. Her vulnerability and tenacity were always simultaneous. She would happily participate in several functions we organized and drop in quietly at my lecture or at the Asian Heritage Foundation studios, mostly to listen to our ideas and see our work. Her quiet support was like a cherished reassurance that we were on track, that we were not dishonoring the cultural ethos that has given us more than one can return in a single lifetime. Her contributions enhancing the whole canvas of India's cultural heritage all at once was far more than most will ever achieve in many lifetimes.